It's chaos. It's chaos. GC fam, what is up? Welcome to the video. Today we are talking about Groove Cruise 2024, set times and artist recommendations. This is the 20-year anniversary sailing. I'm so excited to be a part of this festival for another year. I've been sailing since 2013 and it feels just like yesterday. I was boarding this cruise ship not knowing how important it would be in my life for the next 10 plus years. And so I'm so excited, especially if you're new, especially if you are a longtime GC fam who I get to see again. I just can't wait. Let's dive into the schedule. We have so much to dive into. I do want to introduce myself in case you are new to my channel. My name is Jess, and I create videos around F words I'm passionate about, and festivals is one of those really big F words. If you're into any of that, just go ahead and subscribe. I would love for you to be a part of the F word lovers community. And also, if you are attending Groove Cruise this year, I did create a official playlist of the full lineup, and I will leave that down in the description box if you want to take a listen to some of these artists yourself. Let's dive right into Wednesday and the welcome parties that are going on. There's typically 2 party venues that they'll have open during boarding. Usually it's the main pool deck and the atrium or some sort of indoor venue. So you do have music going on indoors and outdoors. There's a lot of people that are usually checking in, getting their stateroom ready, and setting up. So, they kind of limit it to 2 venues to start. And then by 6 p.m., I would say it's like balls to the walls, like whole ship is open and there's so many choices. So for the welcome party, we have a lot of GC fam staples here on the main pool deck: Queso Fresco, Lizzie Curious, Brian Lubliner, and Scotty Boy. These are all artists that are house music artists that have been sailing on Groove Cruise for many years. Queso Fresco plays a lot of Insomniac festivals, Groove Cruise. He's on Gene Ferris's record label. Lizzie Curious, an incredible UK producer, songwriter, and vocalist. Very groovy, uplifting house music. Gotta check her out at some point. Brian Lubliner, also longtime friend of mine. Been in New Jersey with him for as long as I can remember. And he's, I would say, on the house side as well. Depending on what party you catch him at, he's very versatile. So he can be more progressive house. He can have hip hop in his sets or tech house. So it really kind of just depends. I would say with this welcoming party, it's going to be more on the housey side. And then you have Scotty Boy, GC resident artist for the longest time, host of Groove Cruise Radio. You'll hear him throughout the ship giving shout outs. He does a lot of work for Groove Cruise and has probably been one of the artists that have been sailing on Groove Cruise for majority of this 20 years. So definitely recommend you check out him at some point. Also going on during boarding, you have that indoor venue I was talking about, the atrium, which you have Raquel Evate, Brian G, and Danstronauts. They also are all GC fam resident artists. So I just want to kind of touch upon some other things going on right when you board. At the Texas Smokehouse on deck 6 at 3 p.m., you have the Virgin meetup with my homie GC Cupid. I definitely recommend you go that, meet other virgins that are like literally in the same boat as you, new to this experience, very new to Groove Cruise, don't know what's happening. I think you should go to that. Also, GC Cupid's just longtime GC fam, and he's been hosting a lot of these types of meetups, and amazing person. amazing creative guy that crafts all of his own GC themed costumes. So the Friends of Bill meetup, that is for sober ravers. So if you are sober or trying to remain sober on this sailing, maybe you're pregnant, maybe you are choosing a lifestyle choice that you don't really want to partake in alcohol, Friends of Bill, that would be a group for you to go meet like-minded people. Also at 4:30, you have the military meetup. So if you are prior military in any branch, you can go and meet your fellow veterans. And then at 6:30, you have speed friending, which is also hosted by GC Cupid. So this is also a great opportunity for anyone who just wants to maybe meet new people, branch out of their group. Maybe you're traveling to Groove Cruise solo and you want to meet new people. So those meetups are also going on kind of earlier in the night. That's a pretty good warm up for the welcome party, in my opinion. After that, we do have the sail away party, which is obviously when we actually start to sail away. So lots of times they'll have like pretty big artists for this because the hype is like so fucking high, you guys. So at the main pool, we have Marcus Schultz. I would consider him a resident artist. He's been on so many Groove Cruises. I feel like he's GC fam staple at this point. We also have Joel Corey, which is going to be for the Sunset Sail Away set. And then Blastoise and Adam Scott. I feel like all this is a pretty good transition. Marcus Schultz obviously is trance. Joel Corey, I would say, is more on like the pop house side. Then you have Blastoise, who's psytrance, and Adam Scott doing the Eurodance Classics, which is a set he does every year, and it's really special. So high energy. Everyone loves it. It's like all the throwbacks from like the 90s. So I feel like all of that's going to be like super fun to see. I'm going to head over to the venues that start to open up around 6 o'clock, kind of like midway through the night. So in the casino, we have Slots of Fun. Just a few people I'm going to point out. John Beaver, Flame Tongue, Red 5, my girl. I want to go catch her for sure at some point this weekend. I'm so happy to see her on this boat. Also, Nikki Genesis. That's like tech house. A lot of these artists I'm talking about like are like kind of different genres. But I would say Red 5 and Nikki Genesis, those are two female artists I highly recommend that are like more on the house spectrum, tech house spectrum. Also Zoya, kind of like for darker, deep vibes. She is also another female artist on here that I would recommend. Bring the bass line. Should bring the meter up 10 dB. Then we have the social deck, Rising Tides. You do have more GC fam artists. I say that in a lot of my videos. What that means is just they've been sailing on Groove Cruise forever. They've been resident artists forever. They have been a part of this family for a lot of these sailings. And so they come back year after year. So you'll hear me say that a lot, but I would recommend Drums of the Sun, which is anywhere from like house, tribal house. You have Louis D who DJs, and then you have a percussionist, Bam Bam Buddha, who does live drums. It's very special. And their group was actually formed on Groove Cruise. And so it's just amazing to see what they've built over the years. Also Shannon Williams, probably one of the longest sailing resident artists on Groove Cruise, house music. Also Jetpack, that's a lot of fun to see. Team Jetpack, basically they are the largest portable speaker system, I believe, Guinness Book World Records takers on that, where they basically DJ, but they have this entire group that has huge speakers on their backs. So like they're a portable party, if you want to call it that. It's so much fun. You'll see what I mean when you get the chance to see them. Also DJ Dose, another house music staple. in the GC fam. Tiso as well. She also, I would say, house music. And then also, let's see, Nathan Bliss. There's just so many GC fam people on this lineup at the Social, which is kind of like an indoor club. And then also, I would highly recommend Sweet Queso. So this is Speaker Honey back-to-back Queso Fresco. So it's a tech house meets techno B2B set, basically. I definitely want to go check that out for a little bit. All right, let's move into where the venues start opening up around 8 p.m. to late night. So I will start with the theater, which is one of like the largest venues on the cruise ship. There's usually multiple levels. I don't know this boat at all. Obviously, it's a brand new ship, so I don't know if there will be 2 levels, but usually there is. It says it's located on deck 7. I would guess that you could get there from deck 7 or deck 6, most likely. And this is going to be Diplo's Higher Ground party. So Diplo obviously is a mega producer, mega DJ in this space. He's one of the biggest headliners on this lineup. He does have multiple record labels, but his Higher Ground record label is very house and deep house driven. This lineup is so fucking fire, you guys. You have Cosmalia, Gene Ferris, Biscuits, LPGOB, Diplo, and Vanessa. Like, just bury me there. I definitely have Biscuits on my list to see, tech house artists. So if you're into tech house, definitely recommend. Also, obviously, Cosmalia, Gene Ferris, they have been on Groove Cruise time and time again, and they're incredible house music artists, tech house artists as well. LPGOB is coming back. She's returning, and I'm very happy for it. She's also bringing her label, which we'll get into it once we get there. But yeah, she is like the piano house queen and just so vibey. Have never really seen Diplo out of all the years that I have been partying at festivals, so I do really want to check him out. And then Vanessa is also an incredible house music artist. So that whole lineup in the theater is just beautiful.
Yeah, we can get up out of here and go and have some fun, but first you gotta tell me where I know you from.
Also going on around the same time, this is where the conflicts come in. You have In the Cavern, Twisted Funk, hosted by Vixen's Sexy Circus. So just so you guys know, Vixen's is a restaurant club in South Florida, and there's always a lot of like house music DJs that play there, and a lot of the artists that are on this party have played there before. Twisted Funk is Ollie Sanders' record label. I'm very happy to see Twisted Funk and Ollie back on Groove Cruise. He is from London, UK house producer, DJ, incredible person, and he's been living in South Florida for, I think, like last 15 or 20 years. I don't even know, but his first Groove Cruise was just last year, believe it or not. And so very happy to see him back on here with his party. He has Boris on here, who's an absolute legend when it comes to like underground, the true underground. When you think of like house music artists, I called it. I did a whole predictions video, and I was like, I bet you Boris will come back on Groove Cruise. Curious to see who the special guest is. You also have Louis D, and then Lavelle Dupree, longtime GC fam artist, and Keith Christopher. I mean, that whole party is also straight fire. So if you're into house, I would definitely recommend Twisted Funk. That you could just stay there the whole time. It's going to be very hard for me because between that and Diplo's Higher Ground, like I'm going to be so torn. For all my trance lovers, that's going to be the Embark label. So Groove Cruise has different genre labels that they categorize, and their Embark label is trance. So if you're into trance, opening up that party, you have Trance Jesus, another longtime GC fam member. You have a lot of, actually, all these artists are returning GC fam artists that are all trance. So I would, just recommend go check any of them out if you are into that genre. In the atrium at night, you have Siren's Echo. That's going to be your melodic bass lineup for the night. You have a MIDI returning, Trivecta, Years of War. So there's a lot going on inside there if you're into melodic bass. Late night, you always have silent disco. I feel like I always miss out on this because there's just so much going on. But there are some artists on here that I do know. GC fam, Tommy Knox and Crucial B, gotta shout them out. Kiko too, I believe. So all those artists, those are like actual GC fam members that lots of times they will like hop on silent disco, and you'd be really surprised how incredible and talented these artists are. And as if there wasn't enough going on already, there's other things you can get into. You have Martian Circus at the A-list, and I missed out on this last year, and I begged Jason in a survey to bring this back. So I absolutely must go to their live immersive psychedelic experience. I just need to go. Like I need to go and experience this. So like I will make it there one night on this cruise. It's basically where you can go and see live performance, and you can interact and play instruments. And it's like, from what I know, like all UV lights with paint, and I'm not really too sure all about it, but I definitely want to experience it. And then they also have some other things that are going on, like sound healing and Martian fashion show. So I feel like there's a lot to do there. Also, you have the Wet Oasis Chill Zone, which is hosted by Cahill. So Cahill is a longtime GC fam member, and I feel like he's been so involved in performance and the art of Groove Cruise, decorations, things like that. And he created Wet Oasis a few years ago, and it's really become a important part of Groove Cruise because it's really a place where you can go and decompress. If you don't want to go back to your room, you can go to the Wet Oasis, and he plays a lot of like tribal, like kind of like chill house beats, very relaxing. There's usually beds and crystals and dream catchers. They decorate it differently every year, but it's kind of just like a decompression zone if you don't want to go to sleep, but you still kind of need music, but you don't want like pounding like techno or melodic bass or like that type of vibe. So definitely recommend you go check that out at some point. So a lot of everything I just talked about ends around 4 a.m., but the music never stops on Groove Cruise. That's why I love this festival. There's always something for you to do. Always. So of course we got to talk about the afters. After hours is like my favorite part of Groove Cruise. You can pretty much always find me there. If I'm not there, that means I am power napping and about to wake up and get there. I absolutely love watching the sunrise on Groove Cruise, and I feel like this is some of the best music. It's my type of music. And so we have Abyss, which is Groove Cruise's like kind of like dark afters vibe label, I guess you could say. And we have Ali K, a special guest. I never know who the special guests would be. I would hope that it's Diplo, honestly, just because he is hosting a party, but he will be done with his set by then. So I don't know. That could be a big maybe. Also, you have Gem and Tori coming back on Groove Cruise. I feel like this set of theirs is definitely going to be like the nice, like melodic kind of housey, because I feel like they can kind of go either way. They could kind of have like that housey sound, or they could also have like that melodic, like bassy trance sound. Very versatile. So I would love to check them out, especially that set. I think it would be really cool. And then closing out for Sunrise, you have Kyle Walker, B2B Ranger Trucko for the Sunrise Marathon, which I think is going to be completely fire. That's going to be tech house and watching the sunrise and an absolute motherfucking vibe.
You gotta be so mean. Pull up in a range and leaving in a limousine.
And then I'm going to try to keep all the artists hosted activities and experiences separate. I feel like every time I sit down to record one of these videos, I'm like, I'm going to be organized this time. And it's just so hard because there's so much going on. But what we have going on the first day, you have the fake scavenger hunt with deep fake. That's going to be one of 2 scavenger hunts going on. I know that Rave Culture Cast with Emma Capotis is hosting another scavenger hunt. So I think that those are 2 different scavenger hunts you can partake in. Deepfake, they are incredible people, okay? I didn't know who they were when they were on Groove Cruise for the first time a couple years ago, and my subscriber put me onto them. I became friends with them, and I just absolutely love them as artists, as creatives, as people. Really built an awesome friendship with them. So if you get a chance to participate in their scavenger hunt, definitely do so. They give out awesome prizes at the end of the cruise, and they're just really cool people to hang out with. You also have a craft bar, so maybe you didn't have time to craft anything you want to wear, maybe some accessories, stuff like that. You have that going on as well. Let's see, we have the GC fam group photo. Of course, I feel like I always miss that every year, but it's like a mega family photo on the main pool deck. You do have a wedding. I think this is one of 8 weddings going on this year. Dinner with Anthony Atala, which you would have had to sign up previously for that. You also have some laser tag going on, and Frick Frack Blackjack. Very happy to see them back on Groove Cruise. I had the pleasure of interviewing the founder, Marvelous Marv, at Electric Forest. Very interesting guy. Very interesting group of people, very fun. Definitely recommend that you go check out Frick Frack Blackjack on Groove Cruise. Moving into Thursday, apologize in advance if I'm all over the place again. This is just absolutely insane to look at, and I'm gonna do my best. After the afters, we're starting day 2 on Thursday with Brookie, Brian G, Nate Wyatt. Those are awesome GC fam staples. And then you have San Pacho, who is one of my highly recommended artists to see. If you like the tribal Latin house type vibe, if you're really devastated Coco Drills isn't coming on this Groove Cruise, San Pacho is the set for you to go check out. Then we have Deeper Purpose, which I definitely recommend. Another incredible tech house artist, followed up by Disco Lines, who I cannot recommend anymore. And I'm very happy to see him on multiple set times on this boat, because he was my favorite set from Electric Forest this past year. Absolutely incredible tech house DJ, but very versatile, reads the crowd. Like, he did throw in a little bit of bass music into his set. Incredible house music artist that I would definitely recommend. And then you have Speaker Honey. Also, I would highly recommend her. And then Scooter and Lavelle. Scooter and Lavelle are also, I would say, some of the longest running GC fam artists on this boat. They do play together as Scooter and Lavelle, which is a project of theirs. And then they do also DJ separately. Scooter does a hip hop party, which we'll get into later. And then you will see Lavelle on the lineup as Lavelle Dupree. And Lavelle, when he spins alone, is just house. Together, I would say they're definitely more like big room, progressive, kind of like bass house type of like that heavier hitting house music.
Techno and tequila, I really wanna feel ya.
That was just one stage, and I like really feel like I could have lived there. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to somewhere else that is open around 11 a.m. Okay, so you're going to be at the Atrium also during this time. 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. You have Cold Harbor, which is Marcus Schultz Records label. This is going to be your trance party. So you have all the trance people on here. Every year I mess these guys' names up, and I feel like all of Cold Harbor knows that I fucked their names up, and I'm going to try so hard to say it right. I actually messaged Adam Scott and I was like, can you just please tell me how to pronounce their name? So let me channel him in here.
Gruby and Hovsepian. Gruby and Hovsepian.
Grubby and Hovsepian? Did I do it right this time? I hope so. Anyway, they are longtime GC fam trance artists, so I would recommend you check them out. Also, Halion, she is an incredible DJ and vocalist, so you probably know her voice from like so many tracks with a lot of these artists. Seven Lions, just a lot of the melodic bass and trance scene she sings vocals for. So she's also been on Groove Cruise before, and I listened to a whole podcast about her that she was on Peaking podcast, and it like was really interesting to learn about her story. So I would recommend you go see her. Then of course you have Marcus Schultz and his wifey Adina Buttar, who is a vocalist as well, and they have been on Groove Cruise forever, and I feel like they're part of our fam. You'll catch them chilling at sets and stuff like that too. Daxon, who in my opinion is like one of my favorite trance artists that's on Groove Cruise. I'm not really too big into trance, but I would definitely say that like out of all the trance artists, I really like his music a lot. And then Nifra, she is also like kind of, I would say, like that harder type of trance. Okay, let's also talk about some more daytime vibes that are going on. You do have the casino open. I do recognize Ali K and Cosmalia on there. If you are an artist that's on here and I don't know who you are, just drop it in the comments. Say what type of music you play so that I could come check you out and other Groove Cruisers can check you out. Sorry in advance if I don't know who you are. Also, you have a lot of cool activities going on. Like at the social deck, you have a shuffle workshop, Crusher Camp. You got to go see Crusher Camp. The Crushers are amazing people. I love them so much. I've been friends with them ever since my first Groove Cruise, Susie and Chris. So what this is Chris is a personal trainer, and the Crushers, they just love to stay fit and work out. And so they started Crusher Camp, which is essentially like a fitness boot camp on Groove Cruise. And Keith Christopher comes and spins, and I believe he's doing a 20-year anniversary set. It's so much fun to go to. A lot of people dress up like in 80s neon wear and go and work out. I personally go and observe and drink a mimosa usually. So you don't have to go and work out. It's just like really fun activity for you to go see. I will say that I think that's like one of my conflicts this year is Crusher Camp is going on the same time as Deeper Purpose. And I'm like, I wanted to see Deeper Purpose so bad. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, you also have some other activities like Mario Kart and So You Think You Could Laugh with Brian G. And a comedy show. So that's all kind of still going on during like the late afternoon-ish before we get into the evening. Some other things going on during the day. You have an LGBTQ plus meetup. You have a lot of panels going on with Jason, the founder of Groove Cruise, and Neon Owl, who does a lot of open door sessions. They do music industry panels on Groove Cruise. So if you're interested in like kind of just like learning more about the industry, definitely go check those out. You also have the Great Bingo Revival. Also during the day, I'm trying to stick to like during the day and afternoon before we get into like the late night stuff again. At 10 a.m. you have an intention setting workshop with Aid, aka Vibe with Aid. So excited for her to finally be coming on Groove Cruise. Oh my God, there's so many creators that I've been like trying for them to come on Groove Cruise for so long, and I'm so happy that they're coming. I would recommend going to this if you really want to work through your feels, you guys. Aid did this at Electric Forest. The turnout was incredible. I absolutely loved attending it. I don't want to like say too much, but definitely if you want to set some intentions to have a magical weekend on Groove Cruise, definitely go check that out. Okay, with the exception of the artist hosted activities, which I will just do separate every day because it's just too much. I do believe that I covered pretty much everything that's going on morning through midday. Now let's get into like the later evening. So where should I start? I guess I will start at Taking Back Emo. Why not? So this is going to be at the Social. And this is really fun, you guys. I absolutely love this party. In fact, Nikita Page's Taking Back Emo set was one of my favorite sets last year, so definitely recommend going to see him. You also have Shatterpoint on this lineup and So Tough, So Cute. So Tough, So Cute, I would love to see. They are a female duo, and they are like on the pop emo side, like kind of like hardcore. I've heard that their sets are a lot of fun to attend, and so I feel like for Taking Back Emo, that's like really perfect. So that party is going to be really cool to see. You also have Embark going on. So this is going to be your trance stage hosted by Ali and Fila. I would say Ali and Fila are definitely trance artists I want to see. Like out of, I feel like there's only like a select few that I would be like, yes, I like really want to go see them. And so this is their party. Starting out, you have Lucio, who is GC Fam staple, very talented DJ. He is always on the trance lineups, but I know for a fact that he spins sick house sets too. And I'm dying for him to just get on like one of these house parties on Groove Cruise. I just like want him to do another house set because he did one year for the GC pre-party and he threw the fuck down. Anyway, definitely recommend him. You also have Gabriel and Dredson, Ali and Fila, Craig Connolly, and Factor B. So once again, that's for all the trance people out there in the theater that night. So that's always mega because it's a really big venue. Moving right along into the night, you have Carnival at the Atrium, which is Gene Varys's party. This is a fire lineup, you guys, all right? You have Queso Fresco, Max Lowe, and Anthony Atala, Kyle Walker, and Gene Ferris. Like, I could live there, honestly. Max Lowe, incredible tech house duo. They've also been on Groove Cruise for a very long time. They're a female tech house duo. Really like them a lot. Anthony Atala, I will go into him more for his record label party, but he definitely is probably one of the top 3 artists I've seen the most worldwide. Definitely recommend him. Incredible house music artist from Chicago. Kyle Walker as well. Crazy house music, good tech house sound. And of course, Gene Ferris, who has become a GC Fam member as well. Incredible Chicago house. So definitely recommend that party if you're into those vibes.
Shouldn't have took those fucking pills.
Moving back up to the Social, I'm really happy to see this, honestly. You have the Sirens After Dark. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about this. Lots of times in the past, the after hours on Groove Cruise was strictly like just like tech house and house, which personally, I'm here for that. But not everyone is here for that. There's a lot of people that don't enjoy that type of music. And so I think this is like the first time where they really are having different types of music going on until late night, like till the sun rises. That's not that. So you have the Sirens After Dark, which is going to be your entire melodic bass up until 6 a.m. You have Midas on here, Trivecta, B2B Blastoise. I feel like that's going to be sick. That's from 3 to 4 a.m. Also, you have a surprise B2B2B. So I don't know. I'm not huge into the melodic bass scene, so I can't speak on like, a lot of these artists. Blastoise, I feel like, and Trivecta, like I feel like that set would be so sick. So I would probably recommend that one out of all those. Also during all of this, from late afternoon till late morning, you have a 12-hour party going on in the casino, which is the Decades Party, because I feel like the theme for this night is dancing through the decades. So I really like this lineup just because there's going to be something different for everyone to catch. The Vintage 72 set, which is Rizzo's new project. So that's going to be kind of like a disco house set. You're also going to have festival anthems with Raquelevate, which I always love going to this set. You guys, if you want like the ultimate feels, the ultimate sing-alongs of like all the festival anthems throughout the years, you got to go check her set out. Then you have Boris with the house classics. I feel like I would love that. Then you have Adam Scott with the trance classics. So like you have like all these like versatile artists doing like different genres for this Decades Party, right? Then you have Doc Brown, who is one of my favorite artists on Groove Cruise. He's doing a freestyle set, so I'm very curious to see what that will be about. And I will talk more about Doc Brown when we get to his record label later. Also, you have Lizzie Curious, who I mentioned, incredible vocalist, house music producer, and she's doing a disco set, so that'll be so fun. Let's see who else is on here. J Disco. I haven't brought her up yet. 2 to 3 a.m. So Jenny Disco, I think, is one of the longest running female DJs on Groove Cruise. So I definitely recommend you check her out. She's like a house tech house vibe and so much fun to hang out with. So definitely go check her out. Some more late night things going on in the Cavern. We have the Sundown Sounds. We do have a lot of my favorite people on this party. You have DJ Dose, Trans Jesus, Keith Christopher, and Deepfake. So I feel like I would probably have to go to that Deepfake set. I do go to a lot of the Deepfake sets. If you're interested in what like the other artists that I just mentioned are, Dose, definitely house, tech house, Trans Jesus, usually trance. I'm wondering if, because he's on this lineup, I'm wondering if it really is going to be trance or if it's going to be like his other project, which is like the Houseier project. I don't really know. Maybe he'll comment on this video and let us know. Keith Christopher, also that house, tech house vibe. And then you have Deepfake, who really is like Detroit techno, but they really are so versatile. They could do a little bit of bass tech. They could do a little bit of house tech. They could do groovy. So you know, I feel like depending on what the whole vibe is at this party, they're just going to adapt. Okay, there's so much to choose from here. Like, I don't know how I got like lost in the sauce with all that, but the hip hop party is also this night. Fuck. Okay, so Scooter's hip hop party, you guys, is always off the hook. Okay. Scooter's an incredible DJ that's been on Groove Cruise for a long time. Very good at scratching. Just really great artist, and he always runs a hip-hop party. You got Brian Lubliner on there. You also have Just Cool featuring the legendary Mohamed Moretta, and Buck Rogers is back as well. I just feel like if you need a change of pace, like you're like over the dance music, highly recommend the hip-hop party. I feel like it's always packed out. You got all the hip-hop classics, so yeah, definitely check that out. Also, during all this, like I mentioned, you have like late night silent disco. You have Shrugs on there, who is a GC fam from 3 to 4 a.m. That's going to conflict with my Deepfake sec, but that's going to be kind of like deeper, darker, like I feel like techno-y vibes as well. And then you also have obviously Wet Oasis Chill Zone, which I talked about earlier. This is kind of where you could just go like decompress if you don't want to go back to your room, but you still want music, but you want to chill, but you're like don't really want to go to sleep. You still want to like stay up and listen, but you just don't want all the other pounding types of music. That's where you want to go. And the Martian Circus, which I need to check out this year, like I mentioned. And then let's move up to After Hours. So let's see. You have Abyss Presents Spanung, hosted by Lily Palmer. I definitely butchered her record label. I know that's her record label, but I have no idea how you actually pronounce it. You guys, this is like a full techno After Hours lineup. This shit is so fucking fire. You have Marie Vaughn, Brennan Gray, Pig and Dan, and Lily Palmer, followed by Sunrise Sessions with Doc Brown. I can't. that is so fire. Like, I want to be at all that. I don't know how I'm going to pick. What am I going to do, you guys? This is like, oh my God. By the way, this is like my first time looking at this, like, because I've just been so busy. I didn't even think I'd be able to record this video. And looking at this, I'm really having trouble deciding where I'm going to end up. But yeah, if you are into techno, please do not comment after the cruise. We need more techno. That is a full techno party for you, like straight up all techno. Now we're diving into the artist-hosted activities and experiences, which honestly, like, a lot of these you have to sign up for in advance, and it's very overwhelming for me to even look at. I think I mentioned some of the other things I would recommend checking out that you don't have to sign up for, like the Neon Owl sessions and Crusher Camp and the Shuffle workshops and stuff like that. But there are a lot of activities going on, and the one that I really want to point out, of course, that was like very perfect timing that my camera decided to get full and stop recording. But the one that I really want to point out to you for the activities going on this day is Doc Brown's Unlearn Trivia. So yeah, I just want to kind of give you a backstory on this. So during COVID, Doc Brown, in my opinion, had one of the best Twitch streams that was happening. He basically would perform for 12-hour marathons, basically from 12 noon till 12 midnight, sometimes even longer, with a lot of unreleased house music and tech house, techno tracks of his own, plus other artists that were on his label. And he also did trivia during that stream, where each week they had a different theme. When I say they, I mean him and his partner Lauren, who they're some of my favorite people on Groove Cruise. But anyway, they would come up with a theme for the trivia for that day, and then Steve, who's Doc Brown, designed all of the art that would go across the screen and for the questions, and it was just so well curated and one of the best Twitch streams during that time that we lived in. And now he's brought it to Groove Cruise, and it's basically like a live version of that. So he will be playing unreleased house and tech house techno tracks from his record label while doing trivia, and you can come and take shots and win fun prizes. So I would really recommend that one. Okay, let's start with Friday again. Hopefully I didn't miss anything for Thursday. If I did, I'll circle back. And let's start with the main pool deck, because that's just what I've been doing. You have Femme House, which is LPs, label, lots of amazing artists on here, and all female artists. So I really like that's happening. We have a lot of female representation today. I'll get to what I'm talking about later. But you have High Life, Max Low, Cosmalia, Vanessa, LPGOB, and then you have like a B2B2B with LP, Vanessa, and Cosmalia, and then you have Miha. Miha is part of So Tough, So Cute, so this is like her solo project, I believe, and this whole lineup is just straight fire. So if you're into house and tech house, highly recommend the Femme House on the main pool deck. While we're just at it, let's just talk about it. No Boys in the Booth. This is starting a little bit later over in the cavern, but this is Tissot's party. Once again, all female lineup, lots of talented artists on there. And you have also Sax Cells, which is Tissot's project with, I forget who it is, but there's live saxophone with house music. So that's a really cool vibe.
Sweets, that's all a kitty needs. Tripping on some treats, that's all a kitty needs.
Also going on during the day, this is like another like conflict. You have Femme House going on in the main pool, but in the atrium you have Scotty Boy's Deep House Brunch. So we got a lot of good house parties going on this day. So Deep House Brunch is an absolute vibe, you guys. This is Scotty Boy's party. He has, let's see who he has on here. You got Ben Bennett, B2B, Red 5, Brookie starting out the day, Lizzie Curious, Scotty Boy, obviously, Scooter, B2B, Buck Rogers. Then you have Kaztech, B2B, Nikki Genesis. That is one I would like definitely want to go see, the Kaztech, B2B, Nikki Genesis. And then you have Christian 10, B2B, Madison Orange. So that's all your like chill, deep house, groovy, feel good house vibes at Deep House Brunch.
The one and only Dominator.
Let's start to talk about like what's happening like around like 6-7 p.m. into the night kind of. You do have in the atrium Trance Bro. This is Adam Scott's party. So you have a lot of great trance artists on here. This is a fire lineup, you guys. You have Lucio, Daxon, Nifra, B2B, Fisherman, Adam Scott, Ali and Fila, Blastoise, and Craig Connolly. I mean, that is just fire. So yeah, I would recommend you go check that out. Adam Scott, longtime GC fam artist and hosting a lot of great artists at his party this year. Also going on during this time, afternoon into late evening, you always have the casino open. The casino to me is like one of the most like fun and underrated venues just because it reminds me a lot of like Boiler Room sets. So like I always recommend that you go check out the casino at some point. It's just very like minimal visuals. It's like table, decks, the DJ, you are the party, the casino's the party. So yeah, I would just like recommend that you go check that out. You have that going on. You also have Gabriel and Dresden presents After This. This lineup is so good. You have Allie K, Boris, Pig and Dan, Speaker Honey, Gabriel and Dresden, Joel Corey, and then a surprise guest. So I feel like this is going to be definitely like those deeper, darker vibes. Gabriel and Dresden typically are like trance artists, but maybe this is going to be like a darker like set for them. So also Pig and Dan, very like on the techno side, Ali K as well, techno. You have Boris, who's very underground house and techno. I'm interested to see what the Joel Corey set would be at that time and then who the surprise guest would be. So I feel like that's a really fun party to go check out in the social club. You have Drum Circle going on this same night, which is Drums of the Sun party. So I mentioned Drums of the Sun before, but they are Louis D and Bam Bam Buddha. Lots of house, Latin house, music with live percussion by Bam Bam Buddha. So that is Drums of the Sun, and their Drum Circle party is their party that they host, and they have Ollie Sanders and Lavelle Dupree on there opening up, which are some of my favorite GC fam homies to hang out with and listen to. And then you have a surprise guest. So that's another amazing party going on. Also going on later at night into the late morning, you have, or I guess it's early morning, whatever. You have Abyss Presents Deep Dive, which is Deepfake, Nate Wyatt, Joshua, and Ranger Trucko. Those are all artists I would love to see. I really want to see Joshua. I feel like now I think I have covered everything. Besides, obviously, you have the Silent Disco I mentioned, Martian Circus, and Wet Oasis going on every night into the late hours. And now let's finally move into one of my favorite parties in existence on Groove Cruise, Incorrect After Hours. So Incorrect is Anthony Atala's record label. These parties have truly like transformed my life. I give credit to Anthony Atala almost during all these videos for him getting me into underground music a long time ago on Groove Cruise, because I remember walking out to one of his parties It was like 8 o'clock in the morning and I was just blown away. I feel like it was Mind Control that was playing and it just like was life changing for me. So I do recommend you go to Incorrect. If you're going to choose an after hours party, like this is definitely one to go to. Lots of house and tech house vibes. You have Max Styler. Then you have Anthony Atala doing a marathon set. He's just incredible house music artist and his marathon sets are really, really good. I have seen him a lot, so I highly recommend him. And then you have Gene Ferris doing the Sunrise Marathon. So can't go wrong there, really.
Hypnotic. Oh, stop.
Also going on during the day, you have yoga with disco lines, which you probably had to sign up in advance. Something I would really want to check out is Buffer Brunch with DJ Cahill and friends. Okay, that sounds like a ass buffing, get buffed out with a buffer and eat some delicious shit. That's what that sounds like to me. So definitely want to go check that out. We have made it to the final day, Saturday, which is still really throwing me off here because I'm so used to getting off on a Sunday. So anyway, Saturday, the final day, like we haven't even gotten to the beach party yet. I think this is the beach party day. So shit, day 4. Going in for the kill, Groove Cruise. Here we go. Finally, we're going to get off the boat at Great Stirrup Cay in the Bahamas, private beach party. There's going to be 2 stages for you to choose from. So I'm going to talk about stage 2 first because you have some GC fam peeps on here. You have Nathan Bliss, Vintage 72, which that's going to be Rizzo and Vassallo Rizzo's new project. And this is going to be more of like a housey bass house set. Then you have Keith Christopher. You got that nice house, tech house sound. And then you have Fisherman, who is trance. So you do kind of have a little bit going on there. Then you have I guess it's stage 1, but I would consider this like the main stage of the 2 stages. On the beach, you have Chris Blackburn. This is the set I was kind of talking about before. This is Trance Jesus, but this is his house project. So that's what you have house going on to start the stage 1. Then you have Max Low. They're an incredible tech house duo. Disco Lines, another amazing tech house artist. This is like, I don't know. There's a lot of conflict here because you have people that I love on stage 2 going up against the stage 1 artists I haven't really seen that I want to see. And then of course, one of the biggest headliners, you have Tiesto. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are hoping for that like old school trance Tiesto, but personally for me, I really would love to have like the Tiesto circa 2009, 2013 era, like Chasing Summers, Come On. What else is there? What other big tracks are there? Like there's so many that I feel like would be so nostalgic for me. Of like that, like kind of like big room main stage, like you just see a sea of people at Ultra or Tomorrowland, like that type of vibe, like but on the beach with Groove Cruisers. Like that's what I want. That's the Tiesto set I want personally. Haters gonna hate, but I'm hoping for that. Okay, so that's what you have going on during the day off the ship. Then you have coming back onto the ship, the sail away party. So this is where we now sail back to Miami. You have Tissot, Scooter and Lavelle, Anthony Atala, B2B, Gene Ferris, all the homies right there. So you're good. You just got to come back on the boat and you could go to that party and you'll be good. 6 p.m. you have Deep Fake and at the Social, pretty much a straight techno lineup here. I don't know how to pronounce the next name after Deep Fake, but Zoya I know is techno, Marie Vaunt, Speaker Honey, Brennan Gray. That's like a full techno party right there. That's Abyss. That is starting at 6 p.m. Then you also have starting around like 7 p.m. you have Neon Owl Party in the casino. And on here, I would recommend you see Nikita Page, B2B Voyager. So I ended up staying with these guys Miami Music Week randomly through a mutual friend, my sorority sister, and like didn't even realize like, okay, you guys are like group cruisers, you're group cruise DJs. So like I feel like I have to go support those guys. That's who I would recommend on that lineup there. You also have in the Cavern, you have High Life, Tim Clark, Kaztech, and Drums of the Sun. Kaztech is definitely on my list to see house artists that I really like a lot, and High Life. I feel like I just feel like there's so much like talent on this lineup like that. Like I'm just so excited for. You also have Unlearn Records. So this is in the Texas Smokehouse, and Unlearn Records is Doc Brown's record label. Doc Brown, incredible house, techno artist. Groove Cruise staple, in my opinion, has been on Groove Cruise forever. And also I just love hanging out with him and his partner, Lauren, like some of my favorite people to hang out with on this ship. So this party is pretty sick. It's actually very stacked. I'm loving to see like that there's more and more Unlearn artists coming on Groove Cruise. So you have 22 Weeks, you have LaBelle Dupree, Cosmalia, Doc Brown, Lizzie Curious, and Ollie Sanders. So that's a whole fucking vibe if you're into house there. So definitely recommend Unlearn Records for that. Oh my God. You also have We're Never Going Home. Oh my God. You guys, this is hard. This is probably why last year I felt like I was going crazy because I was trying to go here, there, and everywhere, and it's impossible. Like it's impossible. Like it's easier to get around on a cruise ship, yes, but it's also like I felt depleted last year, and like even just looking at this is how I feel. So you have We're Never Going Home, which is Brian Lubliner's party, which is a really fun party, especially always happens on the last and final day because guess what? We don't want to go home from Groove Cruise. So we're just going to have a party and chant We're Never Going Home, right? Even though we have to, sadly. But yeah, this is a great lineup. All these people are GC staples. You have Jay Disco, Queso Fresco, Adam Scott, which is this Not Transpro set, which he crushed it at the We're Never Going Home party last year. So he's coming back again. You have Licious, another female DJ. I'm loving all the female talent this year. Like, let's bring more of it. Love it. And then you have Scotty Boy, and then obviously Brian closing out the party. I'm so upset that this is going on the same time as Unlearn Records. That's pretty much splitting like the whole GC fam in half, if I'm being completely honest, because that's just so hard. That's going to be so hard. Okay. Let me get over it now. Going into what I would consider the closing party here, you have John Summit and Friends, which, oh God, incredible lineup. San Pacho. Once again, glad to see that they have two different sets on here. So once again, I'll mention it just in case you're skipping around. If you are upset about Coco Drills not being on this lineup, I would recommend San Pacho. That's a very similar vibe as Coco Drills. Lots of like house, Latin house vibes with a little bit of tech house. Then you have Vanessa, B2B Max Styler. That's going to be fire. You have Joshua, who is another artist that I recommend. Then you have Biscuits, B2B Deeper Purpose. I'm so happy these artists are on like multiple times for multiple sets. Like that's why like if you are feeling like, oh my God, I can't see everything, like usually you have a opportunity to catch them again somewhere. So very happy to see that. Then you obviously have LP, and then you have John Summit extended set from 2 a.m. till question mark. My guess is that he's closing this bitch out. We're going to pull into Miami and we're going to be raging with John Summit, which that to me is immaculate. I think that is going to be the motherfucking vibe. So I'm very happy about that. Oh my God, I just realized I totally missed that in the theater you have Marcus Schultz's entire open to close set. Oh my God. Yeah, I need to stop talking. Listen, just message me if you need any recommendations. Go listen to my playlist that I created so you could hear all these artists for yourself. If you have any questions, just feel free to DM me on Instagram. And sorry if this was all over the place and so fucking long. It's just so much to handle. I'm going to just skip the artist hosted activities for this day because I just can't even at this point. It's too much. Hope to see you soon, fam. Really, really soon. Can't wait to be celebrating 20 years of Groove Cruise with all of you. Thanks so much for watching if you stuck out this craziness, and I will see you soon on Groove Cruise. Peace.